Welcome to Velopro. Let's see if we get lucky with the industrial noise today. I want to talk about caffeine. We talked about it once before, but I want to revisit it because it's such a prevalent drug in our society. Now, here in Spain, we cherish our morning coffee, and you'll find great coffee at the local cafes, to be sure. And it's also found in sports drinks and soft drinks, such as this Coca-Cola. So we also want to be aware when we're drinking a Coke, if we're drinking caffeine, what we're adding, and other sports beverages. And we're going to talk about that. The benefits of caffeine are increased alertness. It seems to sharpen athletes, and scientific studies have shown caffeine to be effective in sports. And being a senior athlete, I find my morning coffee most beneficial. At the same time, we've learned more than 20 new facts about caffeine, and some of which are really detrimental to many people. And we're going to talk about that, and I'll leave a very good link for you from the Caffeine Informer and the harmful effects of caffeine. And we also want to be aware that hypertension and diabetes can be aggravated by too much caffeine, and I'll leave a link to the Mayo Clinic about that. So, caffeine affects the body's chemical androgen, and which promotes sleep. Caffeine is an inhibitor for the receptors in the brain that detect androgen, so we feel more alert. Okay? Now, that's terrific, but now we learned that there are 20 harmful effects of caffeine that we need to consider, so we're going to talk about some of those very quickly. We've learned that more than 4 cups of coffee linked to early death. Now, a Mayo Clinic partnered study found that men who drank more than 4 8-fluid-ounce cups of coffee had a 21% increase in all-cause mortality. However, in their study, they reported that they consumed excessive amounts of caffeine, were likely to smoke and have poor fitness and eat a lot of donuts and that kind of thing. So that study, I don't know. Number 2, caffeine consumption may raise blood pressure. Now, we know that if you suffer from hypertension, that your doctor will advise you on that, especially if you take a blood pressure medication. Number 3, increased risk of heart attack among young adults. Now, we found that young adults who were diagnosed with mild hypertension, means they had mild elevated blood pressure, had a 4 times risk of having a heart attack after they consumed caffeine to the equivalent of 4 cups of coffee. Number 4, caffeine linked to gout attacks. Now, I mentioned that I'm subject to certain types of arthritis, which gout is. I did not know that, and I'll keep my gout eyeballs open. Number 5, breast tissue cysts in women. One study showed that women who consumed 31 to 250 milligrams of caffeine a day had a 1.5-fold increase in the odds of developing fibrocystic breast disease. Fibrocystic breast disease is a development of watery cysts. And they also found that women who drank more than 500 milligrams of caffeine a day had a 2.3-fold increase in the odds of developing these types of cysts. Number 6, caffeine can cause incontinence, and that's out of a University of Alabama study. I'll take a look at that. Number 7, caffeine may cause insomnia. Means you won't sleep. Yeah, that's a given. If you drink too much of these products, you won't sleep well. Caffeine can cause indigestion. Now here they're talking about drinking a Coke on an empty stomach and other caffeine beverages on an empty stomach. Now, if you drink vegetable fruit juice cocktail on an empty stomach, you're going to feel better. So have some of that instead, maybe. Number 9, caffeine can cause headaches. Now, too much coffee, they say, can cause headaches, and the symptoms can lead to migraines. Number 10, caffeine can reduce fertility in women. That's from the University of Nevada, and I'll let you take a look at that. Number 11, caffeine and miscarriage. Now, they're talking about men and women both who consumed caffeine before consumption raised the risk of miscarriage. Number 12, caffeine may not be healthy for type 2 diabetes, and we talked about that earlier, and I left a link to the Mayo Clinic. Number 13, caffeine overdose. Yeah, that can happen, but they're also saying that it can lead to other issues and be quite serious and lead to death. You'd have to drink a lot of coffee, but I imagine in other forms. Number 14, caffeine allergies can lead to allergies such as hives and actual allergic symptoms, and that's been reported. Number 15, caffeine causes more forceful heart contractions. Now, here they're talking about people who have drank a sports drink, such as Red Bull and that kind of thing. And then after that, they were measured, and their heart contractions were actually more forceful. And the long-term medical effects of that are uncertain. Number 16, worse menopausal symptoms, and I'll let you take a look at that. Number 17, caffeine consumption can lead to increased anxiety, depression, and need for anxiety medication. Now, we know that caffeine can be a depressant in large quantities. We also talked a little bit about mental health and nutrition, and we know that proper vitamins and the B vitamins, and we talked about that in the past. So we'll talk about mental health and nutrition in the future as well, because there is a correlation to exercise, nutrition, and stability. Number 18, caffeine increases the number of sugary beverages consumed by people. Now they're talking about Cokes and that kind of thing that are full sugar. This is a zero sugar type, but it has other chemicals. Number 19, caffeine inhibits collagen production in the skin. Now, we talked about collagen already because I'm taking it, and we're going to do a follow-up on it, and I think you'll be very pleased with what I have to report. Please take a look at the follow-up for collagen, which will be hopefully before I go on vacation. Number 20, caffeine interferes with ossification and can lead to a greater risk of bone fractures. Now, they are talking here about the bone density being reduced and osteoporosis, and I'll let you take a look at that. Anyways, I thank you so much for viewing. Don't forget, I'll be on vacation from August 15th through September 10th, and I appreciate your indulgence on that. And I'm going to grab my juice and get going. Please don't forget to share and subscribe.